Good morning. I'm Pastor Corby Johnson. Welcome to Devotions in the Proverbs. Today is the 5th of April, 2021, and we're going to take a look at Proverbs 12, verses 5 through 9. Now, some of the Proverbs have a theme that goes all the way through, and some of them don't. It's almost like a mishmash of whatever they thought of for the day. So each devotion is from 5 to 10 minutes long, and I'm going to read this in the English Standard Version today. I do encourage you to look at different versions of what we choose and take a look at the differences in the words, the differences of the meanings, the nuances that each of the descriptions hold. It is interesting because they'll use certain words that you'll go, oh, well, that seems very different. They do sometimes, but most of the times, if you read it in more than one version, it's going to open the door even wider for you and for your understanding, as well as for applying these things to daily life. So I'm going to read this proverb in a different way. So we have the proverb in its entirety, but it goes back and forth between what righteous do and what non-righteous do. And so I really like to take this every now and then and just go through all of the good stuff and all of the bad stuff at once. It really does change the entire meaning for it. So here we go. The thoughts of the righteous are just. The counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright delivers them. The wicked are overthrown and are no more, but the house of the righteous will stand. A person is commended according to good deeds, but one of a twisted mind is despised. Better be lowly and have a servant than play with a great man who lacks bread. I don't know about you, but sometimes these remind me of Confucius' say. So here we go. I'll start with the bad. The counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood. The wicked are overthrown and are no more. But one of the twisted mind is despised. Now we'll go for the good ones. The thoughts of the righteous are judged. The mouth of the upright delivers them. The house of the righteous will stand. A person is commended according to good sense. Better to be lowly and have a servant than play the great man or the great one and lack bread. It's interesting to hear that in two different ways, isn't it? And you think about the thoughts of the righteous. Who knows what the righteous are thinking? Really, who knows what anybody's thinking unless they put it down on paper or tell you personally. And I think a lot of times I don't hear what people really believe or what people are really thinking about. Because some things we hide. We don't want other people to know what we truly think. Or what just pops up into our minds every now and then. I don't know about you, but sometimes I have something come to my mind and I go, that's terrible. Don't think that. You just push that aside. Has that ever happened to you? Yeah, perhaps. So then we always have imagine and then activity and action and then our focus verse for the day. So I'd like you to imagine when you were somewhere out and about in your daily life and you felt like you didn't fit in. Has that ever happened? Yeah. I think that happens every now and then when we feel like we are not among people that we think alike or that we enjoy doing things that are the same. And sometimes we might not be prepared for that, and it makes us uncomfortable. But other times, I believe God blesses us through those situations because it teaches us to stretch and to broaden our horizons. So, and as an activity, next time you are out and about, take a look at who is around you doing the same thing. Take notice, are they dressed, well dressed? Are they comfort dressed, or are they shabbily dressed? And does what they're wearing have anything to do with where you are or what you're doing? Is there a lack of fashion sense that the people just aren't fitting in and they're uncomfortable being there? And then if you have two groups of people, some that are obviously fitting in and some that are obviously not, how would you categorize each group? Would you tend to say that the well-dressed righteous are good and the shabbily dressed or not quite ready for this activity are bad? Or can you see the good and the bad in everyone and not judge whether someone is wicked or righteous? It'll be interesting when this message pops into your mind someday. So as an action, I'd like you to kind of look at your life and the lives of others in your neighborhood or in your town or in your city, and with a fresh mind and new eyes, do you see people in need of companionship or in need of food or in need of clothing or in need of employment? Or do you just see people for people? Kind of has like the victim and rescuer type feel, doesn't it? Sometimes we're all victims, and hopefully sometimes we all have that rescuer in ourselves also. Our focus verse today is verse 9. Better to be lowly and have a servant than to play the great one and lack bread. One more time. Better to be lowly and have a servant than to play the great one and lack bread. Kind of puts it into perspective, doesn't it? I think God wants us all to be servant and all to be rescuer, depending on where we are at the time and what's happening. So, my friends, I hope and pray that you will feel this proverb in your life. And when you're in a situation that seems just a little different, you'll think of better to be lowly and have a servant than to play the great one and lack bread. God's blessings, and we'll see you tomorrow.